winning. That's literally all Jimmy Butler cares about. The Miami Heat star that led his team to an improbable NBA Finals appearance inside the NBA bubble is also one of the hardest workers in the league. Tagged as a locker room cancer and disruptor by media members in the past, Butler had some tumultuous tenures with his previous 3 teams that all ended with some sort of bitterness. But the reality is he just wants to win. Jimmy's used to facing tons of adversity, but he's turned himself into a winner and an NBA star. But instead of being complacent and settling, he works harder every other day because his road has not been an easy one at all. Join us now as we take a look at Jimmy Butler's life journey to NBA stardom. From a homeless kid to an NBA star that after many years of being questioned and doubted, finally feels like he can always be his true self. Today, Jimmy Butler cemented himself as one of the biggest stars in the league, but unlike most of his fellow players, he hasn't been a lifetime hooper. Butler played football in his hometown of Tomball, Texas until he was 13 years old. According to Jimmy, he hated practicing football in the hot summer weather and was only 5'3" at the time, so he didn't want to get crushed by the bigger football players. He then decided to switch to basketball. It was around this time, one sudden day, Jimmy's mother told him, "I don't like the look of you. You gotta go." He was 13 years old. He hadn't ever met his father. He had nowhere to go, and his mother had just kicked him out of the house. At this age, Jimmy was going through struggles few others went through, having to worry about where he was sleeping the next night. Butler spent middle school and early high school couch hopping from one friend's or teammate's house to the next, and got used to bouncing around with whoever would receive him. This continued until the summer before his high school season, when a freshman by the name of Jordan Leslie approached Butler after a summer league game. Leslie, who went on to become an NFL wide receiver later on, also played basketball at the time and challenged Butler to a 3-point contest. Jimmy accepted, and they became very close friends since, with Leslie inviting Butler over to his house to play video games and stay the night. One night became a week, then a month, then 2. Jordan's mom, Michelle Lambert, accepted Jimmy into their house, and Butler started living with them despite the fact Lambert already had 7 other kids. "They accepted me into their family, and it wasn't because of basketball," said Jimmy. "She was just very loving. She just did stuff like that. I couldn't believe it." Michelle was a single mother, and they were tight on money most of the times. But she still welcomed Jimmy to the house, something he still appreciates very deeply to this day. And the effects of living with a loving and caring family started showing, as Butler upped his game on the court and finished his senior high school season averaging 19.9 points and 8.7 rebounds. Still, he was only a 2-star guard ranked 73 in the state of Texas, so he wasn't heavily recruited and didn't receive scholarships from a Division I college. He opted to go to junior college and played his freshman season at Tyler Junior College in Tyler, Texas. He finished his first college season averaging 18.1 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 3.1 assists per game, and drew the attention of some Division I colleges. While scouting another player, Marquette head coach Buzz Williams noticed Butler. Williams saw how hard of a worker he was. But according to Jimmy, the very first words his future coach told him were, "Jimmy, you suck." Still, Williams later extended Butler a scholarship invitation to Marquette University in Wisconsin, and Jimmy left Texas for the first time. His sophomore college season and his first at Marquette was not too successful, with Jimmy coming off the bench and averaging 5.6 points and 3.9 rebounds. He wasn't getting too many minutes, and practices were very, very tough, particularly for him. His coach, Buzz Williams, later said in an interview, "I was incredibly hard on him, sometimes bordering too much. But he endured it, and more importantly, he flourished from it." Future NBA player Jarrell McNeil, who was then a teammate of Butler, also saw how hard Williams was on Butler. "He was terrible on Jimmy," McNeil said. "He saw Butler's potential before I think any of us saw it. I just remember hearing him every 2 minutes in practice. 'Jimmy, what are you doing? Come on, Jimmy.' And to Jimmy's credit, he never did anything. Yes sir, no sir. He just took it all on the chin." At one point, he talked to Michelle Lambert, his adoptive mother, and told her he wanted to quit and return to Texas. She encouraged him and told him all the hard work would be worth it. Fast forward to his junior season, Butler became a starter and finished with averages of 14.7 points and 6.4 rebounds, and he earned all Big East honorable mention honors. In his senior season, Jimmy now averaged 15.7 points and once again earned all Big honors. Williams' hardship on him worked wonders, and Butler knows how big of a part it played in becoming the star he is today. "Buzz has always been like a father figure to me, because he introduced me to this whole hard work thing," Butler said. "I love that guy." Coming out of college as a 22-year-old raw prospect, not many scouts were high on him. Still, the Chicago Bulls took Butler with the last pick in the 2011 first round of the NBA draft. Bulls GM Gar Forman liked what he saw on film and the demeanor Butler played with, but he never envisioned him turning into a star player like he is now. In his 2011-2012 rookie season, Butler appeared in only 42 games and averaged 2.6 points. Then a veteran player with the Bulls, Rip Hamilton, used to say Butler shot the ball like it was a dart. There wasn't much of an arc on it. His defensive prowess was noticeable, but his offense wasn't good enough to warrant rotation minutes. That summer, Jimmy lived in the gym and worked on his shot like a madman. In his second season, Butler appeared in all 82 games and started 20 of them, now averaging 8.6 points on 47% shooting. But it was his game in the 2013 playoffs that shocked everyone, as Jimmy averaged 13.3 points and 5.2 rebounds before the Bulls ultimately lost to LeBron James's Miami Heat. Still, Jimmy earned the whole league's attention. He kept on working on his game, and at the end of the 2014-2015 season, Butler was named the most improved player after averaging 20 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 3.3 assists. The Bulls had passed on signing him to a contract extension before the season, but it worked out much better for him in the end. Jimmy re-signed with the Bulls on a juicy 4-year, $72.6 million contract. In his next 2 seasons playing for the Bulls, he continued improving, but the team wasn't getting much better results. Even when Chicago signed Rajon Rondo and Dwayne Wade, the team had tons of issues. Butler, having earned his status as a locker room leader, called out everybody from Bulls head coach Fred Hoiberg to his young teammates that weren't putting the same effort in. It all ended in disaster over at Chicago, who decided to rebuild under Coach Hoiberg and traded Butler to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Jimmy was happy to join a team filled with young talent and tons of potential, as well as being reunited with his former Bulls coach Tom Thibodeau, who coached him through his ascension to stardom. Butler led the Wolves to their first playoff appearance in 13 years, but they were eliminated in the first round. Things didn't end much better in Minnesota than they did in Chicago, with Butler infamously beating the Wolves' starting unit that included Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins while playing with the third stringers. Jimmy was set on proving a point, and he did it in the loudest way possible. Unsurprisingly, the Wolves fulfilled his trade request and sent him to the Philadelphia 76ers a bit over a year after they had brought him in. Butler's tenure with the Sixers was, again, a bit tumultuous. He never knew exactly who he could go to, had a rocky relationship with head coach Brett Brown, and was never an amazing on-court fit with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. The team was extremely talented, as they lost to the Toronto Raptors only on that famous Kawhi Leonard buzzer beater in the Eastern Conference semifinals. The team had some interest in bringing Butler back on a max contract, but wondered whether they could control him. Jimmy said the moment he knew he didn't want to return to Philly was when they wanted to try and control him. He just wanted to be himself. Everywhere he went, it seemed like he was always misunderstood. His competitiveness and drive to win were often confused with anger and disrespect, even getting labeled as a locker room cancer by the media. This couldn't be farther from the truth. All Jimmy was doing was continuing to push himself as Buzz Williams pushed him in college to continue getting better. But the places he'd been in weren't committed enough to that mentally. That's why today, Butler feels at home with the Miami Heat. There's transparency, accountability, everybody works hard. It has everything Jimmy had always envisioned in a basketball franchise. Led by the Godfather, Pat Riley, and longtime head coach Eric Spoelstra, Jimmy's found the place he wants to be until he retires, and it showed in the very first season. Yes, there were different factors that helped Miami achieve success, but this year's Heat team looks nothing like the squad that missed the playoffs last season. They look like a real team where everybody plays for each other, where everybody plays to win. And it all starts with Butler leading by example in practice and pushing his teammates to make them better every day. The Heat unexpectedly made the NBA Finals as a result of all their hard work, led by Butler. As rough as his life story is, Jimmy doesn't want you feeling sorry for him, he told ESPN. Please, I know you're gonna write something. I'm just asking you, don't write it in a way that makes people feel sorry for me. I hate that. There's nothing to feel sorry about. I love what happened to me. It made me who I am. I'm grateful for the challenges I've faced. Please, don't make them feel sorry for me. So please, don't feel sorry for him. Instead, get inspired by the amazing life story that led Jimmy Butler to NBA stardom. Had you heard about Butler's story before? Make sure to comment down below, and as always, please leave a like and subscribe.